and welcome to game number 23 of the Upper St. Clair varsity season. We've taken the show on the road tonight. Your Upper St. Clair Panthers will be taking on the heated rival from Mount Lebanon right here at the Mount Lebanon Rec Center. On your Panthers television network, I'm Kurt Carruth, along with broadcast partner Bob Eckert and John Sarabella. We may have no NHL tonight, Bob, but we've certainly got what hockey's all about, the dreaded backyard brawl.
Well, we got a barn burner tonight for sure, Kurt. The 19-2 Mount Lebanon Blue Devils with a 12-game winning streak here on their home ice in Mount Lebanon. A great facility to watch a game. You can take your coat off and stay warm. Upper St. Clair Panthers been renewed. 6 straight wins for the Panthers, and they've become a very, very physical team. The Panthers look different than they did when they lost to the Blue Devils early in the season. As I said, 18-4, so we got 19-2 versus 18-4 tonight, and anything can happen.
A very difficult facility to play in, a beautiful rink that can probably house about 200 or 300 fans here, Bob. It's very warm in here, and sometimes the knock is the boys think the ice is a little bit slower because of the heat in the building, and that could be because of the tremendous ice skating they have on the figure skating side of the equation. But it is what it is. It's very comfortable to call a game, and they do have heat in this building. I think your point was very well taken, Bob, about the difference. I think if you look at the way the Panthers played against the Bethel Park Blackhawks, it was an extremely physical game, and I actually think it got Bethel Park off their game. We came on the short end of that stick, as you well know, with basically Bethel scoring with 16 seconds to go. But they've got one big line here for Mount Lebanon, and if somehow they can shut them down, I think the Panthers have a real good chance of winning this game.
Well, Mount Lebanon is a very interesting story. They have a young freshman, Tyler Mirovich, who is just, he's an incredible player. This kid is averaging almost 3 points a game. He's the #1 scorer in AAA WPHL hockey, and he's followed by a second player, Tony Valerino, who also is over 3.5 points a game, and he's the second leading AAA scorer, and the #7 is Shane Ferguson. So this team is really top-heavy with some of these kids, and they're young. Other than Valerino, these kids are not seniors. As a matter of fact, Mirovich is a freshman. Here we go with the national anthem. Also tonight, Kurt, missing for the Panthers, #77, Andrew Blazik is not here, although Jay Clancher, #14, is back. He was not here the other night for the Fox Chapel game. For the Blue Devils, a big loss for them. Chad Udstrom will not be here. He suffered several concussions, and he is unable to play tonight. So that's a big loss for them also.
I believe we're also, the Panthers, missing Trevor Yealy to a practice, and also Chikra for Mount Lebanon, a big loss, #26 for Mount Lebanon. Well, Mount Lebanon brings into this building about a 2 or 3 year unbeaten streak at home here, Bob. As a matter of fact, the last game they could have lost was a season victory by the Panthers. So let's see if we can break that streak. It's a very difficult team to play in a very hostile environment.
All right, we're going to get set here. #16, Mike Pencott steps into the circle to take the face-off. 57, Dave Crockett at right wing, and #37, Dana Sinapura on the left wing. 15, Ian Joyce, and 28, Anthony Sarabella on defense for the Panthers.
Faceoff is controlled by Mount Lebanon, and they put the big gun line that you were talking about. Valerina, Murovich, and Ferguson, the son of former Penguin George the Fergie Flyer Ferguson. I think that might have dated me, Bob.
Even I remember that.
Taken by Bartkowski around the corner, and it's going to be played by Ferguson. Murovich is going to help out, and once again, tremendous freshman sensation, obviously. Almost hard to believe, Bob, a freshman leading the scoring, but watch number 10 out there, folks. Well, this guy can fly.
I was just talking to a friend from Mount Lebanon a few minutes ago, and he says that Tyler Murovich may be the strongest kid on this team. He's an incredible specimen for only a freshman.
And looks like we're going to have a stop and play here with 14:06 to go in the first period.
I will change it up here for the Panthers. Number 19, John Markwell, is going to play center here. Number 9, Brian Gorder. Number 17, Alex Abbott. Defensively, Brendan Sermon. Number 8 and 10, Teddy Huckstein.
Looks like we may have an injured player down here. Number 15, Ferguson, is on the ice, and they're attended to him. I wasn't actually sure what happened here, Bob, but we have a stop and play here. Panthers in their away, a black and red, beautiful jerseys, and probably my favorite uniform, the gorgeous gold and blue of Mount Lebanon, the Michigan colors.
Well, a great tradition for Mount Lebanon hockey, this being the first really fine building to house high school hockey in all of the South Hills. The building's been here for many years, probably 25 years, maybe 30.
And I think they still have the first Zamboni ever made, because believe me, you can smell the carbon monoxide all the way up here. So bring out your oxygen mask.
You might get a little woozy before the night's over. Well, if Ferguson can't go tonight, that'd be a big loss for the Blue Devils. Number 7 scorer in all AAA hockey here in Western Pennsylvania, giving Mount Lebanon 3 of the top 10. This is a team that's pretty much top-heavy. They've got 6 or 7 real high-profile players on this team, and then they don't have the depth, Kurt, that the Upper St. Clair Panthers have. But look out for those top 6 or 7.
It looks like Ferguson skating off under his own power, which is certainly good news.
We'll have to keep an eye on him. Number 10.
A very unfortunate injury here a couple years ago, if you remember, Eddie DeGregory with a hit in a tournament, I believe it was the Christmas tournament, and looked like an innocent hit into the boards and ended up having a little swelling, I believe, on the brain, and pretty much put him out of hockey. So
yeah, he had to have surgery the same day, and he never did play hockey again.
Absolutely brutal sport and very dangerous, of course. Not only do you have hard ice, Bob, but you've got boards that sometimes just don't want to give. Okay, so Gorder's going to take it down deep, and I think, again, the important thing for the Panthers, they've seen, Bob, to fare very, very well here if they get that early tally, and against a team like Mount Lebanon could really get them off their game. Big hit in the corner and physical play again by Asarma, as he's been mixing it up all year. Collision missed there by Abbott, as Ferguson right back on the ice, Bob.
Well, he's back out there, and he didn't look like he's any worse for the wear.
Play is loose in the corner. It's going to be chipped back to center by Ferguson, and a good play, cross-ice pass by Surma, and he throws that over to Huckstein, who dumps it deep. Played by James Joyce, and he's tied up by Everon. A centering pass right on the plate of Clancher, and that's going to come off into the corner. Finally, Clancher's going to leave it for Joyce, and he's got brother Ian trailing. Centering pass is going to go wide. Good scoring opportunity there as Evan Bear, goaltender from South Hills in Mount Lebanon, stuck the right pad out. Play finally comes back to center. It's been all Upper St. Clair here, Bob, early. Play comes back to the neutral zone where Bartkowski will bank it right into Ferguson, and he'll leave it for Valerino. And Ferguson holding the stick of Ian Joyce, nothing called. Good play by Valerino to keep it in the zone. Finally taken by big number 8, Valerino. A centering pass goes by Mervich's blade. Back to number 7, Dornish, who will dump it deep. And it looks like perhaps the Panthers are trying to shadow, if you will, Mirovic, where number 26, John O'Loman, looks like he's on them. So it could be an interesting strategy. We'll have to see how that plays out.
Well, that would be interesting. Loman is fast, and he's a tough hombre. So if anybody can keep Mirovic under control, I think it's John O'Loman. He would be my choice for that assignment also.
Face-off controlled by the Panthers as Pencrott will beat Rosen on the draw. Sinapura will pick it up, leaves it for Pencrott, unable to get it out, and finally back to center.
Good pass.
Taken by number 57, big-time scorer and leading scorer for the Panthers, Dave Crockett, and he and Markwell are on fire this season, Bob. And it just seems like it's back and forth. Both literally have the same amount of goals and the same amount of assists. I think they're only separated, Bob, by 1 point.
Well, those guys both have about 40 points in 20 games, so they've been doing a great job. But interestingly enough, the Panthers don't have anybody in the top 10 scoring in AAA hockey. Not even close.
Oh, a mini breakaway ensues here, and Crockett unable to keep it on his blade. Oh, and a centering pass goes right on, and weakly played out by Evan Bear. It's finally going to be skated back by Rosen, and he dumps it down deep, and he'll look to change.
Well, there really hasn't been much continuity at all to this game so far. It's just been back and forth, both teams kind of feeling each other out. It actually looks a little bit rough out there. I think they're going to have both teams are going to have to settle down here a little bit and start to put some of their patterned offense together.
Well, you really don't know who the nerves would affect most. You probably would have a Mount Lebanon team who's expected to win here, Bob, so could be a little bit of pressure on probably the nerves are on the parents and the cameraman, but a big game nevertheless. You certainly want to finish the season strong, and it doesn't get any easier, Bob, Monday night against Central Catholic.
Number 14, Jay Clancher, steps in, wins the face-off for the Panthers, and here we go.
Taken by Sarabella, and that's just going to be dumped in, and the Panthers are going to enjoy a power play here, Bob. Where the Panthers will go on a power play here, and I didn't see the penalty by Mount Lebanon, but the Panthers now will skate 5-on-4.
Here.
Play comes back to center. It's loose, going to be taken by Sarabella, and he's going to dump it down neatly over Bartkowski. Bartkowski will be the first to play it, and a good play by Valerino as he'll get his stick on it to get it back to center.
All right, power play forwards here for the Panthers. Markwell, 19, 26 Lohman, and 14 Jay Clancher.
Oh, and a giveaway there in the neutral zone by Ian Joyce. Play will come right off his blade. Valerino gets a shot, but that'll just go wide. Taken by number 19, Markwell, and he'll lead the rush back to center. Takes it in all alone, and Clancher's going to pick up the mail. Takes it in the corner, and he'll look to center it. Joyce down deep, doesn't go to him. Clancher all the way around back to the left point, and a shot on from the point by Sarabella, and that'll go into the meshing. And a stop in play. 50 seconds remains in the power play, 9:53 in the first.
Change up the Panthers here with Mike Pencrott, 16, number 57, Dave Crockett, and number 9, Brian Gorder. Defensively stays the same, Ian Joyce, 15, and 28, Anthony Sarabella.
Face-off again controlled by Mount Lebanon, but unable to get it out. A good play by Sarabella, and a cross-ice pass shot right on, and a big save by Evan Bear, and a good slap shot there again, Bob, from the left point of Ian Joyce.
Panthers look much better on this power play than we saw the other night against Fox Chapel.
Once again, totally dominating here is, rebound shot, score! What a shot by Crockett! Are you kidding me? And the Panthers, ho-hum, take a 1-0 lead. Dave Crockett. What incredible poise, Bob. A rebound once again, and a knock on the Panthers of the old as they never crashed the net. And boy, Crockett niftily kept it on his right skate and put the lumber to it, and an easy open net goal to take a 1-0 lead. Well, maybe the tides have turned, and Mount Lebanon has to be careful about taking penalties of their own. A good first power play opportunity for the Panthers, and they get off to that all-important 1-0 lead.
Dave Crockett, assisted by number 9, Brian Gorder, and number 15, Ian Joyce. Time of the lower audience is 22 seconds of the third period.
A power play goal by Crockett will be his 22nd of the season, assisted by Brian Gorder and Ian Joyce. And once again, the Mount Lebanon team crashing that goal, as they always know how to do, Bob.
Well, they're going to muscle down low for sure, so Kevin Gorder better suck it up tonight.
Yeah, this is a game where your goaltender really has to take control of the ice and really recognize what spot is his and what spot is theirs. And sometimes you have to use the lumber in that case too, Bob.
Well, Kevin Gorder works hard to keep himself strong. I see him in the gym a lot, lifting weights, and he's pretty focused on building his body.
Face-off is still in the play is still in the neutral ice zone, and a heavy hit by Mirovic against James and Joyce in the corner. Play comes all the way down deep, where played out by Ferguson, but a giveaway back at center. Taken by number 37, Sinapure, and he'll cross ice pass for Teddy Huckstein. And boy, it just kind of looks like Mount Lebanon is kind of standing still here. Not usually the type of speed that's employed by this team. And I don't know if they don't have their legs early or, oh, and a high stick right on Sinapure's head. And boy, they missed that, Bob. A slashing call, and it hit Sinapure. You can hear the helmet up here. Mirovic is going to lead it back, and he'll dump it down deep for a wholesale change.
And here come the Panthers.
Here comes Joyce, and he'll lead the rush back up.
Oh, here comes Ian.
And he's got to dish this puck off here. Sometimes you can use some help, and he gives it to Crockett. And that play is going to come off the board in the corner, and a good swarming defense of Mount Lebanon to close quickly on the puck. That's going to be dumped the length of the ice, and icing will be waved off, and the Panthers with a quick change. Play comes over in the right board, but kept in nicely by Markwell. He'll dish it off to Gorder, and he'll take a heavy hit in the corner, but picked up by Markwell.
Normally, defensive-minded Blue Devils have really been kind of sloppy and haphazard here in their own end. That's not typical of their squad.
Leaves it for Sarabella, but Joyce will just decide to take it himself and dump it all the way around the board, where Gorder will play the puck. Boy, the Panthers seem to have the better of the play here, Bob, in the first 8 minutes. And I'm not sure if Mount Lebanon has a shot on goal.
Mount Lebanon doesn't seem to have a lot of jump.
And a giveaway shot on! Oh, what a save by Evan Barron. A big-time shot by number 9, Gorder, as he let it fly from about 20. Once again, a giveaway in the Mount Lebanon zone, and Gorder with a big-time shot, and boy, it's all Panthers. And finally, Mount Lebanon's just going to clear it the length of the ice. Very uncharacteristic icing call to get the heat out of a hot kitchen.
All right, the Panthers here, number 14, Jay Clancher is going to play center. Oh, 22, James Joyce, 26, John O'Loman. Blue liners for the Panthers, number 8, number 8, Brendan Surma, and number 5, Paul Crocker.
Well, this is as a team, you've got a sense as an Upper St. Clair team, a team that perhaps not on their best tonight, and this is where you take it to the next level, Bob. If you let a team like this hang in there, they're eventually going to come back to bite you, and here's where you got to tack it on.
Well, I think you and I both agree, Kurt, that the Panthers have been playing much better the last 3 weeks. Ever since the Bethel Park game, I think this team has really kind of turned it on.
Play is still loose in the corner, and again comes back to the point where Bartkowski's going to take a shot, and that's just going to whistle wide. Finally checked down deep, a centering pass by Mirovic, and no one's on the board. Played out in the corner by Loam, and he's unable to get it out, and a good glove save.
The Blue Devils will make a run from Upper St. Clair KHL and creating personalities Bob Eckert and Kurt Cruz in the next game.
We finally got some ink.
They just called our names, Kurt.
Channel 7 on the road. We're legends in our own minds.
Old friend Bob Sebastian. Remember going to a lot of away tournaments with him and his boys over the years.
And if he has a voice for TV and radio, that's the man you want to have. And he was kind enough to host our senior night just on Monday, February the 7th. And it is doubleheader action here tonight, so we'll have the chance to bring the freshman team here tonight, Bob, and get a good look at our up-and-coming varsity stars. Oh, Crockett down deep. Oh, what a save by Bear. It's loose. And a good play on the defense there. And another shot right on, and Bear says no. Incredible scoring opportunity, and Crockett seems to have that extra step tonight, Bob, in his skates.
Well, the Panthers seem to be swarming to the Mount Lebanon net, not going down the side of the ice like we've talked about in the past. And Evan Bear made a real nice save there to save that goal. Okay, 16, Mike Pencrott.
Faceoff's controlled by, looks like the Panthers here. It's going to come back and finally gathered in by your godson, Mr. Anderson.
Craig Anderson, number 9, senior for the Blue Devils.
Back to center, and it's going to be played by senior captain Anthony Sarabella. Banks it back in the board, and that'll be played out by Dornish, but a giveaway for Sarabella, and he'll take it down the left wing. Drop pass to Pencrott, and a wrister is going to go wide. And boy, Mount Lebanon with absolutely no transition here, Bob, and just choosing to ice the puck on many occasions.
Well, the Blue Devils really look flat.
Pencrott dominating the faceoffs here again, winning 5 out of his 6 faceoffs. And certainly it's been all Upper St. Clair for the first 10 minutes of this period.
Okay, John Markwell, number 19. Number 9, Brian Gorder's going to take the faceoff. 17, Alex Abbott.
Faceoff comes around to the corner, and boy, once again, a hustling Panthers going to get there first, where Gorder will take it down deep. Centering pass back to Gorder, and he's in the command position. Shot's just going to go wide. Taken by Sermon, deflected in front. Oh, and what a save in front. And once again, Mount Lebanon doing an excellent job clearing the puck, and several rebounds given up by Evan Bear here. And boy, his defense has really bailed him out, Bob, the last 3 or 4 minutes.
Boy, anytime a deflection on a shot like that, and that's anybody's puck, that could go in very easily.
Once again, Mount Lebanon having a very difficult time transitioning. We're going to have to see if the camera works from the left side of the equation here. Finally just chipped but not out. Oh, and that did come outside the zone, and Huckstein will play it back in. And we'll have an offside call on Upper St. Clair with 3:53 to go in the first. Your Panthers lead 1-0.
Clancher, Lohman, and James Joyce, the forwards here for the Panthers. 28, Anthony Sarabella, and Ian Joyce, number 15, the Blue Liners for the Panthers.
We have a packed facility tonight, and I even saw the coach of North Allegheny, the coach of Plumboro. So we've got the whole contingency looking at this game, Bob. Well,
Mount Lebanon ranked number 2 in the West, AAA, with, as I indicated earlier, a 19-2 record, and the Panthers, of course, 18-4, and ranked 4th.
Play comes back to center. This would be a huge win for the confidence of this team as well. And it looks like Clancher's going to be offside on the left wing, and we'll have a face-off outside the blue stripe.
3:31 to go, first period, 1-0, Upper St. Clair.
Face-off controlled by Upper St. Clair, and Weekly shot over to Ian Joyce, and a good play as he'll bank it over to his brother James Joyce. Play finally comes back to center here, played by Joyce. And he'll rag the puck right on stride to Clancher, and he'll have to wait to check up. John O'Lohman's going to bank it down deep, and it's going to be played by Evron. And a hit avoided by a number 22, James Joyce, and the puck's right back on the attack zone. And it's been all Upper St. Clair here, and they continue to cycle it down deep. Wow. Mount Lebanon once again having a very difficult time clearing the zone, and finally Bartkowski's going to take it back, but all he can do is chip it back and go for a line change. And right back on the attack, it's Sarabella, and he banks it down deep. Finally going to be played in the left wing by Ferguson, and boy, Ballerino looks very slow again and loses the puck at center. And it's going to be chipped in offside as Ferguson was in ahead of the play. And we have a stop and play with 2:31 to go in the first.
Upper St. Clair leads here 1-0. Okay, Mike Pencrott, number 16, is going to step in and take the face-off. 57, Dave Crockett, and number 37, Dana Sinapura for the Panthers.
Oh, big-time check there as number 10, Huckstein, will hold up on Ferguson on the blue line. Play comes around the corner, and Murovich unable to control. Finally back to center as the Panthers do a good job clearing the zone. Comes back to Ferguson, number 15, and a giveaway by Pencrott. Pencrott's going to skate down the left wing, and a power move to Crockett. Backhanded shot, just goes by the crossbar. And Crockett with another good scoring opportunity to have his third or fourth shot here of the game. Finally comes back to the zone, and number 8, Serma's just going to bank it down deep again. Skated in by Pencrott around the corner to Valerino, and he outlet pass to center. That'll come by the mark, and number 8 of our own, Brendan Serma, just banks it back in. A little bit of extracurricular there with Serma and Ferguson, who gets up a little bit slow. And you got to be careful here, as Ferguson may try to retaliate here out of frustration, Bob. Play kept in nicely by Alex Abbott, and he'll chip that on the goal played out by Dornish.
I think there's nothing Brendan Serma would rather do than to get Ferguson off his game.
Boy, the Panthers just seem to be beating Mount Lebanon to the puck here, Bob. Played in the corner by Colligan, and he's a big physical player for Mount Lebanon. He'll rag the puck back to Bartkowski with a drive. Nice save by Gorder, and a good clearing pass of our own here, Bob. 1 minute to go here in the first, and finally a very good scoring opportunity for Mount Lebanon, but a better save by Gorder. And that's going to be banked the length of the ice, and they're going to wave the icing off here with 43 to go. Finally played around the corner, and it's going to come back to Brian Gorder, and he'll lead a rush to Alex Abbott. And he'll split the defense, and he's pulled off his blade on a good heavy hit there by a swarming defense of their own. Everyone involved in that play. Comes around the corner where Sarabello will tie it up with Colligan. Kept in nicely by number 17, Abbott. 21 to go here in the first. Play is still kept in the attack zone, taken by Markwell, and he'll leave it for Gorder.
Good effort by Alex Abbott, number 17. He's really been playing hard here the first period.
Oh, and another good look at the down and the weave in front. Boy, it's all Upper St. Clair with 5 to go. You got to center it. Oh, and a hit from behind, and that'll do it. And what an entertaining period of hockey, Bob. I've got to say, the Upper St. Clair Panthers probably had the better of the 10 or 11 minutes of better play.
Well, very uncharacteristically, the Mount Lebanon Blue Devils have been allowing the Panthers to really charge the net. Normally defense first with the Blue Devils. They don't let you get anywhere near that goaltender, but the Panthers have been charging the net all night, and Mount Lebanon's been disappearing.
Bob, shots on goal, Upper St. Clair 9 to Mount Lebanon's 3. Now, when have you ever seen a home game where Mount Lebanon's only had 3 shots on goal? So it looks like Mount Lebanon's come out very sleepy here tonight, and perhaps they can get their legs back, but this is, again, where the Panthers just have to take it to the next level.
Well, boy, their coach is really heated. John, maybe you can get a shot of him over there. He is just tearing them up one side and down the other. He is not happy with their performance in the first period.
By a great coach for Mount Lebanon, and deep tradition in Western Pennsylvania with hockey, and I'm sure he's seeing exactly what we're seeing up here in the broadcast area.
Well, this is a very, very fine hockey club, and I guarantee you the second and third period we won't see a repeat.
And you wouldn't think a team like Mount Lebanon could think they could mail it in against here. I mean, you've talked about the rivalries just that exist from being in school, and a lot of these kids play on the same teams together, Bob, and you would think that they would want to come out and just really take it to the other team. So
well, they all came up together, as you know, Kurt. They started playing hockey in first, second, or third grade, some of them as late as the fourth grade, but not many of them start after that. And these kids all know each other. All right, number 9, Craig Anderson, my godson from Mount Lebanon on the face-off, controlled by Upper St. Clair, and Jake Clancher.
Dumped nicely in by Huckstein, and boy, once again, the Panthers are first to get to the play, and it seems like they're out hustling Mount Lebanon as Lohman will go down deep. Play again comes back to Huckstein on a huge hit here at center between Roman and Huckstein. And boy, it looked like there was a high stick on the play, and Mount Lebanon, I thought, played that puck.
Well, you know, we may not give Ted Huckstein enough credit. He has just been a solid blue liner for the Panthers. He's done everything asked of him this year.
Here comes a rush by Lohman. He's going to take it in, and a good glove save there by Bear. But a good scoring opportunity again by John O'Lohman.
I think in the last couple of games, one of the big differences with the Panthers has been the play of Brendan Serma, number 8, and number 10, Ted Huckstein. I think those guys have really, really solidified this Panther defense.
Well, you got a 1-2 punch there for sure, and I think you're right, Bob. I think, even though we came out on the losing end of that Bethel game, maybe it was the tone that was set there, but they stepped up to play, and I think they outplayed the Bethel Park team there, and perhaps being physical with Mount Lebanon is going to be the answer for them tonight.
All right, 14-10 to go, second period, 1-0 Upper St. Clair.
Played out by Ferguson, who's getting a ton of ice time here today. Sarabella, as he'll play the body. Play will come back to the left wing, and it's going to be chipped in by Bartkowski and Valerino. Be careful here. Centering pass goes by the mark, and Mirovic with a good scoring opportunity. Shot, score! And a real soft goal there, and again, that's the last thing the Panthers wanted to see. I'm not sure, Bob, if that was deflected in front, but I think it went 5-0, and it gets Mount Lebanon right back into game 1-1.
I'm not certain it wasn't deflected by a prone Dave Crockett, number 57, but for sure, Kevin Gordon, number 35, did not see that shot at all.
Well, you bring out the old math major skills again, Bob, and you've got a 1-0 lead here. And again, the next goal is just so huge. If you can get that 2-0 or 3-0 lead, you get that other team back pressing and perhaps taking chances. So to Mount Lebanon's credit, they came back and tied the game, and Bartkowski's going to get the goal. So apparently it was not deflected, unless that's changed later here in the second period. And that might spark the impetus to spark between the chewing out on the bench and a quick goal here in the second. It's exactly what the doctor ordered, and boy, what a golden scoring opportunity there for Mirovic as he had an open net. And here's a giveaway for Valerino. Back to Mirovic, shot on score! What a shot by Mirovic! And he tickles the twine, and boy, Mount Lebanon right back up on top, 2-1.
Well, Paul Tabai standing over there with his arms folded as if to say, I told you so. All of a sudden, just that fast, Kurt, in a matter of less than 2 minutes, Mount Lebanon takes the lead.
Well, a giveaway, a little bit of sloppy play, if you will, Bob, and a Panther breakdown here has led to 2 goals, and that's why you have to play 45 minutes of hockey.
Now it's the Panthers having trouble getting the puck out of their own end. As suddenly Mount Lebanon comes alive physically here and starts to hammer the Panthers.
Mirovic from Valerino at 1:50 of the second to take the 2-0 lead, and a brilliant shot by freshman sensation number 10 Tyler Mirovic, and he just picked that right-hand corner, and Gorder had no idea where that puck went. Played back in the corner, and boy, you can feel the electricity also now in the building as you've pretty much seen the fans come alive. And it's very important for the Panthers, Bob, to score right back here.
Well, the Panthers starting to put the body back on him. I think we got a penalty here.
Well, we got a hooking call here. And it looks like perhaps the Panthers are going to go shorthanded, and Abbott's going to get the call. And boy, now you've got Mount Lebanon on a 2-minute power play here at the 12:16 mark.
Upper St. Clair penalty, number 17, Alex Abbott. 2 minutes for hooking. Time of the penalty, 2 minutes and 44 seconds of the second period. Abbott, a hooking minor at 2.
All right, we're going to take a look at the shorthanded Panthers here. 26, John O'Loman. Number 9, Brian Gorder. Number 28, Anthony Sarabella. Number 15, Ian Joyce.
Well, again, we know we're both going to make the playoffs with only 1 game to go here, Bob. And again, this could affect the seeding arrangements. You've got Plumboro right on the heels of Upper St. Clair. And again, it could very well dictate a win or a loss who you play in that first round of the Penguin Cup.
Yeah, the Blue Devils played that Plum team last week and won by 2 goals, 5-3, I believe.
Cross-ice pass goes to Ferguson, and he loses his edge. But once again, Valerino quick to get to the play. Back to Valerino. Back to Ferguson. Comes back to the point where Bartkowski, who has a goal tonight, to Mirovic. Comes off the board to Ferguson. And boy, it seems like that's the only line and numbers we've been calling all night, Bob. The conditioning of these players must be incredible to be out here with that type of ice time. And a big-time shot by Mirovic. Good save by Gorder, and Bartkowski with a drive. And another big save by Kevin Gorder. Back by Evron in the corner. He's going to leave it for Valerino as they play the give and go to Bartkowski. Back to Mirovic in the command position. Soft pass over in the corner. It looks like we've got a little goaltender perhaps interference, and we have a whistle here. And we'll see if they take the face off.
And there's a Blue Devil inside the net. What do you know?
It looks like the face-off will be to the right of goaltender Kevin Gorder. .47 seconds to go in the power play, 11:03 in the second. Panthers trail 2-1. Face-off is controlled by Mount Lebanon to Bartkowski. Over to Evron. Back to the point again, and Bartkowski takes it from Mervich, and he loves this shot. Oh, big save again by Gorder. It's loose, and a score. And boy, I thought the net came off the mooring here, and a few of the Panthers are arguing, Bob, but nevertheless, referee Cook signals the goal, and the Mount Lebanon Blue Devils cash in again on a power play goal to take a 3-1 lead.
Well, in under 5 minutes here, Mount Lebanon has exploded for 3 goals and lead the Panthers by 2. My, how things can change.
Well, once again, you talk about opportunities, and again, the Panthers had some very good scoring opportunities in the beginning of the first period. And to the credit of Evan Bear, he really stepped up his game, Bob, making a few crucial saves, or this could be a different game at this stage of the game.
Well, the Mount Lebanon goaltender, Evan Bear, was not a starter and was forced into, when their starting goaltender left early in the season, he was kind of forced to become the starter and has played brilliantly for the Blue Devils ever since. So, known Evan and his family for a long time, and he's done a great job. Hats off, Evan Bear.
Petruska is going to get a tripping call here, and Upper St. Clair goes on a power play of their own, Bob, and I think it's very important we cash in here to keep this to a 1-goal deficit. Good play by Ian Joyce at the left point. Played out for Markwell with a wide-angle shot, and that's just going to go off the pad.
Good effort by John Markwell to get that shot off.
Markwell takes it back to the point where he gives it to Ian Joyce in the command position. Markwell shot, just goes wide, and Baird got his pad on that at the last second. Finally going to be dumped back in where Dornish will play it around the corner. Anderson unable to get it out, and a good play by Joyce. Finally going to be dumped back behind Evan Bear, and finally going to be played by Bartkowski. And he'll just take and shoot the length of the ice, played out by Gorder on a quick change, and tries to get Mount Lebanon cheating. And Joyce, it looks like another penalty here. And the Panthers are going to go up by 2 men here, Bob. And you might be smart to let them touch the play here because it'll stop play, and you'll have definitely a 2-man advantage, and they will. And it looks like we're going to have a holding call perhaps here. And
9:35 to go here in the second period.
And Upper St. Clair will go up by 2 men on a power play situation for the next 53 seconds.
Well, I'm sure Coach Harford's telling the Panthers right now, if you have it in you, you better do it in the next minute.
Well, the table's set here, and one of the advantages, Bob, if you're able to score here in the next 53 seconds, that penalty will come off the board, and you'll still have the luxury of a power play and a 1-man advantage for the balance of the 2-minute penalty.
The Panthers lost that face-off, and precious time ticks off.
Actually, believe it or not, it's coincidental minors. It's a coincidental minor penalty here. And
scratch all that last 45 seconds.
But the Panthers still enjoy a 1-man advantage here. I didn't say the Panther going into the bench. The Panthers will still skate with a 5-on-4 advantage here for the next 29 seconds.
Look out.
And that puck will come into the stands. And we'll have a stop and play with 28 seconds to go in the power play. Well, what's interesting about that, Bob, unless that penalty came, you had a pulled goaltender situation where Gorder skated off the ice, and normally if it's a coincidental minor, they're going to blow that play dead. So I'm not sure if that original penalty wasn't to be on Mount Lebanon, and then we had a situation develop where we got the coincidental minor.
Yeah, it's very strange.
Because goaltender Gorder was pulled for a good 15 seconds, and again, they would not let the play go on if it was a coincidental minor.
Yeah, I think they changed that call, Kurt.
2 seconds to go, and that'll do it. We'll be back to skating 5-on-5 here. Play is controlled by the Panthers, and that comes back to Ian Joyce. Finally going to be taken by Clancher, and he'll just dump it down deep. Played by Bartkowski. He'll chip it over to Ferguson, but unable to get it out. Finally going to be chipped back to center. Played by number 15, Joyce. Picked up by Mirovic. And here comes a 2-on-2 developing. Mirovic with a good drop pass to Ferguson, a shot, and that's going to be deflected over the board. Played neatly by Ian Joyce over to John O'Loman, taken by Jake Clancher. Markwell will lead the rush down the left wing, and a centering pass as he had Clancher crashing is thwarted by the defense. Taken by Joyce on an individual effort, tries to get by 3 Blue Devils, unable to do that, and here comes Colligan. Colligan will lead the rush back with Mirovic and Ferguson trailing. Checked down deeply, nice by the Panthers, helped out by forward Jake Clancher. Finally going to be played by number 21, Millhouse, and he'll lead the rush back to center. Taken by Colligan, and he'll dump it down deep. Anderson will chase in for it. Play will come off the near board here and kept in nicely by the Blue Devils. All Mount Lebanon here. Play is still tied up in the corner. Finally going to be helped out by Gorder, and that'll come around the board. Gorder will take a heavy hit by Colligan, and he'll put Gorder on his wallet. And boy, number 27 really knows how to throw his weight around for Mount Lebanon. Well, we'll have a stop and play with 6:59 to go here in the second. The Panthers trail Mount Lebanon 3-1.
All right, the Panthers are going to change the forward line here. Number 16, Jay Clancher, is going to play center and take the face-off. 57, Dave Crockett. And number 37, Dana Sinapura.
Face-off is controlled by number 33, Rosen. Play is dumped in by Evron, played out by number 10, Huckstein. Play comes around to Bartkowski, but he's unable to keep it in, and a good play by Crockett as he leads the rush back 3-on-2. Taken in the neutralized zone by number 37, Sinapura, and he'll dump it weakly on, and a good save by Barron. He'll cover up for a face-off with 6:37 to go here in the second.
3-1 Mount Lebanon here. Pencott, Crockett, Sinapura, Paul Crocker, and Brendan Surma on defense for the Panthers.
Face-off neatly controlled by Pencott. Over to Sinapura, and a shot, and nice body save there by Petruska. Played around the corner board by number 8, Valerino, and that takes a weird bounce off the board. Played back by Crockett. Crockett will take the puck into the corner, and he'll beat Valerino and cycles it back down low. Finally comes back to the point where Paul Crocker will dump it in. And finally, Mount Lebanon will lead the rush out, and Shane Ferguson will take it back. Leaves it for Valerino. Shot's going to go wide. Played by Sinapura, and right back on the attack comes Crockett, and he'll lead the rush to center, and he's got ahead of Steam Bob. Shot on, and a good save by Bear.
Nice job, Dave Crockett there.
And it seemed like he had the Mount Lebanon defenseman on his heels, and he took advantage of it, and Mirovic is going to go in offside. And we'll have a stop and play with 5:42 to go here in the second.
Well, the intensity on defense here by Mount Lebanon, boy, I tell you, they look like a completely different team in the second period than they did in the first period. I don't know what Paul Tabai told them on the bench there between periods, but it really woke them up.
Face-off controlled and played out by Huckstein. Deep in his own zone to Abbott, and he'll chip it back to center, and Gorder will lead a rush. Gorder will be first to play it, controlled by Evron. Left for Markwell, and a centering pass for Abbott goes by the board. Centering pass, and Gorder with a backhanded shot, and a brilliant effort. Almost looked Mario Lemieux-like, if you will.
Sweet.
And I guess that's the only reference we'll have to NHL hockey here.
No, there was a newscast as I was coming in. Hold the phone. They're going to take another look.
Surprise, surprise. Well, I heard there was about a 24-hour window here, and I heard there was some grumblings in the players' camp, and we'll have to see.
Gretzky and Lemieux have called on some of their player friends to intercede with the players' union, according to the radio.
Taken by Milhouse, and he'll bank it around the corner. And I mean, not only is there a fallout from the players, but just think of the people that are employed by the arena and the food servers and the local patrons and the bar owners. It's just an incredible trickle down. I mean, the game certainly, as we know, needs some changes, but it would be probably nice to see them suit it back up and get the game back where it belongs.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch here, the Panther fortunes appear to be improving.
4:18 to go here in the second. Play is kept in on the right point and over to Clancher and a backhander, and that's just going to go wide. Pass shot! Oh, what a save by Bear! And he had a point-blank opportunity, Ian Joyce, and boy, he came out of nowhere, Bob, and Bear with a better save.
Well, I'll tell you, no prettier play than that. Ian Joyce looked terrific.
And it is all Upper St. Clair here, and Rowan's going to give up the body. Back to Lohman and a wrister, and a big save by Bear. Well, and you've got to skate away here, look at a little extracurricular here, and you've got to be careful.
It's Ian Joyce of the Panthers in it with a couple of Blue Devils.
And probably a good no call there with 3:52 to go. Panthers still trail 3-1 here, Bob, but a good flurry by Upper St. Clair in the last 2 minutes, and that's what the Panthers have to do. Get that puck on the net and be aggressive around goaltender Bear.
Ian Joyce having some words with Tony Valerino, captain of Mount Lebanon.
Centering pass again goes by the board. Gathered in by number 26, Lohman, and he'll dump it down deep for Clancher. He'll cycle it low, but nobody home, and it's finally going to be picked up by Valerino. And nobody challenges him. And Valerino's going to dump it into the rafters. And we'll have a stop and play with 3:32 to go here in the second.
All right, we'll set the Panthers for you. Number 15, 14, Jay Clancher. 15, Ian Joyce. 26, John O'Lohman. The Blue Liners for Upper St. Clair. Number 5, Paul Crocker. Number 28, Anthony Sarabella.
Face-off controlled by Mount Lebanon, and they'll chip it back to center, where that's going to be played by number 5, Crocker. And he looks for Lohman on the corner. Finally going to be taken back into the attack zone. And a good play by Joyce, and he's going to take it in offside as Clancher was trapped in the zone. Well, nice offensive attack there, and they put Ian Joyce up there, Bob, on the center line there with Clancher and Lohman, and that seemed to work very, very effectively. And I know Coach Harford is trying to shift the lines here once again and try to shake something up. Played down deep by Huckstein, and that's going to be left for Evron.
Well, a combination of number 37, Dana Sinapir, and 17, Alex Abbott, appear to be taking the place of Andrew Blazek, number 77 for the Panthers.
Oh, and boy, and Colligan had that right down the doorstep. Finally going to be intercepted by Pencrott. Taken back out, and Sinapir unable to keep it in. And that's going to be chipped in offside again with a stop and play. 2:44 to go here in the second.
Now, for all of the opportunities the Panthers have, they've really not had a very good shot selection to score. I mean, they do everything to get right up there, but they have not been able to even make it close. Mr. Bear has kept them at bay.
Played over from Milhouse back to Bartkowski, right on the stride and tape of Ferguson. Oh, and a heavy hit on Surma in the corner.
Oh, nice.
Finally going to be played out by number 16, Pencrott. And he takes it for Crockett in the far corner, and he'll dump it back, and James Joyce tries to help out. He'll take a heavy hit in the corner by Marovich.
Very nice job by James Joyce.
And look at Ferguson, boy, he's got the stick up and no call. Back to the point, and another big save there by Bear.
James Joyce, 22. He's about $1.25 in there whacking people.
Panthers got to be very careful here. You've got a little bit of frustration, I think, now starting to set in on Upper St. Clair. They probably knew they had this team down, and The last thing you want to do, Bob, is start taking bad penalties.
Yeah, 2:12 to go, second period. Mount Lebanon 3, Upper St. Clair 1.
Face-off controlled by the Panthers. Right back on is Ian Joyce, and he'll dump it down for Clancher. And now they've got Markwell on the wing with this line. Played down deep in the corner, and it's finally going to be picked up by Clancher, and he'll look to center on a wraparound play back to the point. And he tried to get it to Sarabella, and there's an interference call. And Murovich with a good play, and I tell you, I got to take my hat off. Sometimes, you know, Murovich felt that little tug on his skate and went down, and sometimes that's all it takes, Bob, especially in the NHL. You get on the ice, and the referee's arm will go up, and Sarabella's going to get the gate for holding.
Very smart play by Tyler Murovich.
2 minutes for interference.
Interference will be the call on Sarabella, and right back on the attack is going to be Mount Lebanon here for a power play for the remainder of this second period, and if they're unable to score, that penalty, Bob, will carry over for the additional 14 seconds in the third.
Well, John O'Lohman wins the faceoff and unfortunately puts it in the Mount Lebanon bench.
Faceoff comes outside the blue line. It's controlled by the Panthers, but shoot it right back to the defense of Mount Lebanon. Evron and Milhouse on Bartkowski on defense, taken by Bartkowski, and he'll lead the rush across the blue stripe, and he'll pull up in the command position. Leaves it for Murovich. Back to Ferguson. To the point to Bartkowski, and he can let it fly. And a big-time save there by Gorder, and he saw that one, Bob, all the way.
Okay, the Panthers are 26, John O'Lohman. Number 9, Brian Gorder.
Face-off again controlled here by Mount Lebanon.
Number 8.
Taken by Murovich again back to Bartkowski, and he'll dish it back to Murv. Be careful here. Oh, and that patented shot by Murovich as he'll come in off that command side. And boy, a good scoring opportunity, but a better save by number 35, Kevin Gorder, as I think he got the arm out. Beth and Mount Lebanon right back on the attack here. And boy, they just can't. Bartkowski out there, and a good save again as they'll clog up the center ice zone. And boy, who's in the middle, Bob? But number 8, Valerino. Murovich, power move, rebound, shot, score. And a rebound play once again, and a deadly Mount Lebanon power play to take a 4-1 lead.
Well, you could just see the Blue Devils just collapsing on the net, and Kevin Gorder didn't know what hit him.
Evron's going to get the tally there, and a big-time move as he stepped in from the left point, but a big shot by Murovich, and to Gorder's credit, he made the first save, but Evron had an open netter, and it was way too easy. Once again, teams like this will find a way to win, and boy, to the credit of Mount Lebanon, they seem to just flourish on the power plays, and that's why it's so important to not take penalties against teams of this quality.
Assisted by number 15, Shane Ferguson, and number 10, Tyler Murovich.
Well, I think another difference between these clubs, Curtis, when the Panthers, you know, when Mount Lebanon was not in the game, the Panthers didn't make them pay. But as soon as Upper St. Clair gave them an inch, Mount Lebanon pounced. They were all over them, and it's now 4-1 Blue Devils.
Evron from Murovich and Ferguson on the goal.
Like a fighter, this Mount Lebanon team seems to know how to put you away when they get you hurt.
And a good cross-ice pass here by number 57, Crockett. And he's reunited with Pencrott. And now he's got Jake Clancher on the ice. So, boy, once again, just totally changing these lines just to see if something works here, Bob.
Well, we're going to have to be careful. Mike Pencrott's roughing some folks up over there along the boards, and I don't want to see the Panthers take another penalty.
Well,
a lot
we've
of
got
frustration.
1 second here to go in the second, and that'll probably do it, Bob. The Panthers are going to go into the intermission here, trailing by 3 goals. And you can see a disgusted look almost on number 5, Paul Crocker, as he hangs his head low. And boy, the Panthers, I don't think, know what hit them. And the game's not over. You certainly 12 to 8 shots on goal, back to the favor of Mount Lebanon.
Well, one last thing before we let them go and cut the ice here, Kurt, is that this has been the worst period that the Panthers have played for the entire season. This is a situation where Upper St. Clair clearly dominated the first period. Mount Lebanon has come back and take a 4-1 lead on 4 unanswered goals in the second period. I think it's going to be very important for the future and the playoffs to see what the Panthers do here in the third period, if they can pull it back together and make a game of it.
Well, we'll let them cut the ice. We'll come back for third period action here in a moment. And we're back for third period action here. And Bob, boy, it's been a tale of 2 periods here. The Panthers totally dominating the first period. Player of the game had to be Evan Bear from Mount Lebanon, who kept them in the game. Panthers gave up a soft goal there at the beginning of the second, and the floodgates were open. Mount Lebanon coming back with 4 unanswered goals, leading the Panthers, who really don't know what hit them 4-1.
Well, when I think the wheels fell off during the intermission, Kurt. I heard just a stream of issues that the Panthers didn't do. They didn't forecheck. The goaltending wasn't as sharp as it needs to be. They played a high wing lock, and that's why they couldn't attack the net. They didn't hit anybody. They were losing face-offs. It was pretty much a complete domination by Mount Lebanon. I'm not sure I know what the answer is, but I know one thing. If things don't change, it isn't going to be pretty.
Well, you know, you talk about the hidden vigorish, and I'm going to come back and say it again. Mount Lebanon was for the taking, and I think the Panthers really needed to get those first 2 or 3 goals, which very easily could have happened. And I give the credit to Evan Bear, who really seemed to be about the only player in that first 15 minutes, Bob, that was on his game. The Mount Lebanon team continued to ice the puck. They only amassed 3 shots on goal. And again, to the credit of Mount Lebanon, they were able to answer back. And boy, a little bit of a chewing out by the coach, as we saw at the end of the first period. And it's been all Mount Lebanon ever since.
Okay, Mike Pencrott, number 16, is going to take the face-off. At one point in the first period, he won something like 6 out of 7 face-offs. In the second period, the wheels came off of that, and we didn't do very well. So,
well, once again, the Panthers need to answer quickly. This game, shot score! And that'll do it! Talk about Crockett! And that's exactly what the doctor ordered, Bob. I was just going to say, the Panthers need to answer quickly here. And boy, you can't get any quicker than that. 10 seconds into the period, Crockett nets his second.
Well, it's a good thing you didn't kill yourself in the last intermission, Kurt, because we may come back here.
Well, I was going to say, boy, it's very important the Panthers answer here early. The last thing you want to do is go down with 5 minutes to go, Bob, down by 3. And now the momentum certainly can be shifted here. If the Panthers somehow can answer with another goal here, the momentum would be right back on the Panthers. And boy, a blatant cross-check there with no call. Back to the point, and Dornish is going to kick it back to the left corner.
Of course, anybody who was around to see the Panthers 2 years ago in a tournament score 3 goals with 1:57 to win a game in a holiday tournament, anything could happen.
Well, that puck must have gone through about 5 holes in the rafters, and I don't know how that didn't hit any of the steel structure. But that's going to be dumped in by Mirovich, and they'll go for a change. Finally banked around the corner. It'll be played out by Bartkowski. And he'll bank it off the corner as he's looking for Ballerino, dumped in by Crockett. Again, a high hit there by Ferguson. Nothing called, and they're letting him play here. A giveaway taken by Markwell. That play will come off into the corner, and that'll just be chipped back to center. Right back on the attack, Sarabella will take it, but that's taken by Ferguson, and he'll dump it down deep. Be careful here. Shot on, and that's going to go wide, and he's pulled down with no call. Finally played by Markwell back to center. And it's going to be dumped in by Anderson offside. And we have a stop in play with 13:27 to go here in the second.
We'll set the Panthers here for you. Number 9, Brian Gorder steps in to take the face-off. 19, John Markwell, and number 17, Alex Abbott for the Panthers. On defense, 28, Anthony Sarabella, and number 5, Paul Crocker.
Play is loose, and boy, almost a good scoring opportunity by Mount Lebanon. Played off the corner board by Sarabella, and he's going to dump it the length of the ice, and icing will be called with 13:10 to go here in the third. Well, the Panthers did exactly, Bob, what they had to do, scoring with Dave Crockett getting his second tally here. It's been the Dave Crockett show here for the Panthers. Second goal with 10 seconds elapsed in the third period.
4-2 Mount Lebanon, third period.
Played out in the corner by Lohman right on the tape of Ian Joyce, and he's going to take a big move. He'll camp up right on the table. Loman shot. Oh, it's in front. Oh, and unselfishly got it on the blade of Clancher, and he's unable to pull the trigger. And he had a wide open goal, Bob. Wow.
Beautiful passing by the Panthers. Just one too many.
If Clancher happened to be a right-handed shot there, he would have been able to pull the trigger a lot quicker. And I think he tried to get it, Bob, to the forehand. And by that time, it came off his blade, and the Mount Lebanon defense swarmed very quickly.
Look out here.
Shot on from the point, and a good save by Gorder. Play's going to come back to number 26, Loman. And he's going to take a power move down the slot, and he'll give it up for Clancher. Clancher picks up a head of steam, and a good move, and it's loose, and a better play by Mount Lebanon. Finally going to be banked back to center, where Sarabello will corral the puck. He'll take it across the red stripe and go into the attack zone, and he's met by 5 Mount Lebanon players. And it's finally going to be shipped in.
3 times there we saw the Panthers try to skate against 3, 3, and 5 Blue Devils. Clearly that won't work.
5-3-1-9-2-1.
Number 16, Mike Pencrott takes the face-off. 57, David Crockett, and number 17, Alex Abbott. Defensively, Anthony Sarabella, number 5, Paul Crockett.
Face-off controlled by Mount Lebanon. Takes a funny carom off the corner. And that's going to be dumped in by Hedgeston. Play is still loose, tied up by number 5, Paul Crocker. And he's letting them play here. Finally going to be taken out by number 13. Played off the skate and stick of Mirovich and played back by Crockett. And we've got Andrew Blazik now back on the ice as he'll join us for some third period action. A much needed help on the offensive attack here, Bob.
I was going to say I called that to be Alex Abbott. I said, boy, Alex Abbott got tall between periods. 77, Andrew Blazik, quite a bit bigger.
Apparently a conflict with the Hornets here tonight, and not necessarily sure if it was a game or a practice, but boy, we certainly could have used the efforts of Andrew Blazik. Finally going to be taken by number 28, Sarabella, and he'll dump it back to center.
Here we go.
Off his board, and Crockett's looking for the hat trick, and he'll pull up, centering pass to Gorder, backhand shot. Oh, just goes wide, and the net's open here, and Crockett's going to center the pass, and a good play by Mount Lebanon as Dornish got his blade out. Oh boy, and that shot right off Roman's face. And boy, good thing he had a mask on there. I think it caught him in the side of the mask, and right back on his Upper St. Clair with a big shot by Huckstein.
Panthers are swarming here.
Back to Huckstein again, and he'll avoid a check right on the tape of Markwell in the corner. Centering pass to Surma. Oh, and another shot again off Roman, and he's taken 2 to the mask, Bob. And wow. Like Popeye said, I's taken all I can stands, and I can't stands no more. And finally a stop and play, and Bear realizes the momentum had shifted. And a good 2-minute flurry there for our Panthers with several good scoring opportunities, Bob.
Jake Clancher, number 14, steps up to the bar. 15, Ian Joyce. 26, John O'Loman. Blue Liners, 28, Anthony Sarabella, and 37, Dana Sinapura.
Face-off is controlled by the Panthers, dumped in by Sinapura. Oh, and a heavy hit there in the corner. Finally back to the point, and Sarabella gambles and keeps it in right to the tape of Ian Joyce, and he takes a big-time move to the slot. Right in front of him. Clancher was not aware of the stick. The puck was at his skates.
Good.
Back over to Sinapura, and he'll let it fly. And once again, Mount Lebanon defense giving up the body here, Bob. And finally going to be chipped back in by Loman offside, and we'll have a stop and play with 9:26, but very impressive. Seems like they've got Mount Lebanon back on their heels here in the last 2 or 3 minutes.
Well, it doesn't help the cause at all if you shoot the puck as hard as you can shoot it, and you shoot it into the body of the defensive player in front of you. So the Panthers got to get it off their stick a little quicker.
Taken by Joyce, and once again, that's going to come off the defense of Dornish. Once again, the Panthers are quick. Back in a shot. Oh, and that just goes wide. And a good scoring opportunity by Joyce down deep. And boy, it's been all Panthers. Centering pass taken by Clancher behind the goal. He's going to be helped out by Ian Joyce. Wow,
All
oh,
Panthers.
Upper St. Clair, it looks like the Panthers of the first period here, Bob.
They're really working.
Well, they took the second period off, and unfortunately you can't do that against a team like Mount Lebanon. But to their credit, they haven't thrown the towel in, and they're right back on the attack.
8:43 to go, third period. Mount Lebanon 4, Upper St. Clair 2.
Taken by Rosen, but that play is going to come off his board. Back to Crockett, and he outlets for number 77, Andrew Blazing. It's loose. Oh, and Crockett with a baseball-like swing and almost connected for his hat trick. And right back to Sarabella, and he's on the attack to Pencrott. Finally comes back to center where Surma will play it. And boy, it's all Upper St. Clair here. What a move by Blazing as he's going to go down deep and centers it. And that's going to come off the blade of Crockett. Oh, and finally clears the zone as Huckstein's unable to control.
8 to go here, third period.
Wow. Well, you've got to believe that the Panthers feel a sense of urgency here and certainly have come to play here in the third period. It's very important if the Panthers are able to strike here in the next 3 or 4 minutes, Bob. We've got a lot of options ahead of us with 2 or 3 minutes to go in the game. Back to the point where Bartkowski's just going to dump it down deep, and he'll look for Captain Valerino to Murovich, who's been quiet here in the third. Finally chipped back to center. Icing's going to be waved off, so Barrow will come out and play it. 7:20 to go in the third. Going to be chased by Markwell over to the right wing, where Ferguson will play it. Finally taken by Valerino, and he'll bank it around the board. Taken by Ferguson, and a big drive is blocked in front, and he avoids a check. Finally
Good
back to
defense there
center.
by Brendan Surman, number 8. To stop Ferguson.
Surma again outlets for Markwell, and that's batted out of the air by Ferguson. Oh, and Ferguson with the lumber. Very aggressive. And the net's going to come off the mooring here. And it came way off the mooring. And we'll have a stop and play with 6:43 to go in the third.
Number 9, Brian Gorder steps into the circle. 19, John Markwell, and 22, James Joyce.
Pair of number 9s take the face-off where Anderson and Gorder. Won by Anderson. Deflected back out to center by Markwell, and a good play. James Joyce gets the stick up high, and looks like a collision there at center ice with Gorder. Finally played by number 5, Paul Crocker, and he'll dump it around behind goaltender Gorder. Left for Sarabella, and he has a difficult time getting it out, and Anderson just dumps it down deep, and Mount Lebanon gets the fresh troops right back out.
6:10 to go, third period. Upper St. Clair down 4-2 to the Mount Lebanon Blue Devils.
And Gorder with a shot deflected by the blue line will come off the board. Right back on is Ferguson. So, boy, seems like these guys get about a 20-second rest, Bob, and they're right back out there, the top line for Mount Lebanon. Valerino will play it around to himself over on the right wing, and he banks it back to center, comes off the blade of Murovich. Finally goes back into the defensive zone where Bartkowski backs it back to center.
Panthers having a little more difficulty now penetrating the zone.
Well,
As Mount Lebanon is pretty good on the back check here.
Good save in front there by Gorder. A pass by Murovich on the tape of number 8, Valerino. And probably Mount Lebanon figures 4-2 is just fine by them. Concentrate more on the last 5 minutes here, Bob, on defense, and that's what Mount Lebanon does. They get across the red line and just dump it down deep. Finally taken by Surman. He tries to get it back out. It comes by the blue line, played by Dornish. He'll bank it off the board, and once again thrown down deep in the zone. 4:55 to go here in the third. Oh, nice play by Anderson as he'll keep that puck in.
Mount Lebanon appears to be beating the Panthers to the puck here.
And bodies all over the ice here, and finally going to be skated out by Clancher here. And look at the stride on number 14. Leaves it for Lohman, a give and go back to Clancher. And a good play by Dornish as he'll pick up his play, and he'll just tie it up in the zone. Banks it off the board, finally going to be helped by Mount Lebanon.
That's a nice.
And they'll clear it for icing with 4:22 to go in the third.
Nice job there by John O'Loman to impede the Mount Lebanon player and force the icing. All right, the Panthers, Mike Pencrott, number 16, is going to take the face-off. 57, Dave Crockett, and 77, Andrew Blazik are the forwards.
Is controlled by Mount Lebanon, but a good play by Sinapura as he's able to keep it in. And another icing call here on Mount Lebanon.
4:12, third period, 4-2, Mount Lebanon.
Face-off taken by Pencrott, controlled by number 57, Dave Crockett. Comes back to the point where Sinapura takes a shot and just goes by the stick of Pencrott as he was looking to deflect that in front. And they say that that puck came outside the zone, but I thought Sarabella kept it in. But needless to say, we'll have a stop and play with 3:58 to go here in the third.
Well, Kurt, Mount Lebanon's doing just what they have to do to win this game. Keep dumping the puck and watch the clock run.
Upper St. Clair's going to take their one and only timeout here to freshen the troops up. With 3:58 to go here in the third, Bob, there's going to be a point in time where goaltender Kevin Gorder will probably get pulled here, and they'll probably do that around the 2-minute or 1 minute and 30-second mark to try to get this to a one-goal game.
Well, with 3:58 here, it might be a good idea after this timeout to put the 5 guys most likely to put the puck in the net in. So we'll see who Coach Harford selects.
Little Jeopardy music.
There it is. And who?
And the timeout's over at the end of Jeopardy music. So Mr. Sebastian has it all figured out. He used to be very active calling the games himself. I know he had a little company on the side, Bob. I don't know what happened.
He still has it. He's still doing that. He tapes important games, does all of the commentary, and then sells the tapes as a memorabilia piece.
Face-off taken by the Panthers, and number 77, Blazik, has nowhere to go with it, so he'll dump it back. Oh boy, and a pretty gracious call there on the offside, taken by Ferguson for Mervich, and he'll take a heavy hit up high. And he'll mix it up with Sarabella, right on the tape of Crockett, and he's got an extra step. Shot. Oh, good save again by Barron. He covered the angle well. Oh, and another glove save as Blazik was able to rip that off from about 15 in the corner. 2 quality shots, 3 quality shots in the last 15, 20 seconds.
Dave Crockett seems to have sneaky speed. He'll come down, he'll look like he's going to go wide because he doesn't have it, and all of a sudden he hits that next gear and blows by that defenseman. Usually gets that shot off.
And that's how he scored, Bob, here in the third period. He came down that left wing and he ripped it with probably about a 6 or 7 inch hole, and he tickled the twine on the upper right-hand corner and thought he had another good opportunity and perhaps may have gotten in too deep.
Okay, Jake Clancher, 14, controlled by Mount Lebanon.
Dornish will play it around the board. Kept in nicely by Markwell, who goes on the blade of Clancher, and he looks for a wraparound, but a good play by Dornish as he'll stay on his man. And that puck will be banked into the meshing, and we'll have another stop and play with 3:05 to go here in the third.
All right. We have 19, John Markwell, 15, Ian Joyce, 14, Jake Clancher, the forwards here, 37, Dana Sinapura, and 28, Anthony Sarabella on the blue line for the Panthers.
Face-off once again controlled by Mount Lebanon, and a good job to clear it back to center. That puck's on his edge, and it'll be played by Gorder. He'll bank it around the corner, and an outlet pass comes by the board. Back to center where Dornish will take it into his own zone.
2:45 here, third period.
Play's going to be taken by Anderson, and he's ridden hard into the boards by Sinapura. Finally, Clancher will lead the rush back, number 14, and he'll get his wheels going. Takes it across the blue stripe and takes a power move, and a screenshot just goes over the head of Evan Bear. Back to Sarabella, and a deflection by Ian Joyce goes wide. Kept in nicely by Surma. Finally comes on the tape of Joyce. Back to Sarabella, and a shot deflected. It's loose, and another good scoring opportunity for the Panthers. 2:10 to go here in the third. Finally just going to be dumped out by Mount Lebanon, and icing will be called with 2:06 to go in the third. Panthers trail 4-2.
How about a quick shot off a face-off here, Kurt?
Kevin Gorder takes a little peek over to the bench, but probably said just not yet.
Ryan Gorder on the face-off.
Pull goaltender Gorder in favor of the extra attacker, Bob, I would think within the next minute or so. Banked off the board by Surma. Over to Lohman, and it goes right on the tape of James Joyce. An errant pass in the corner, but finally Gorder's going to pick up some speed. Centering pass to Joyce, and he fans on the play. And another good scoring opportunity as Gorder put it right back on the tape of James Joyce. Kept in nicely by Sarabella, and a shot right on, but Ferguson will make the play, and he'll take the sand wedge, and he'll just dump it back to center.
1:32 to go, third period. Mount Lebanon by 2.
Still have not pulled goaltender Kevin Gorder here. Taken by Sarabella. Gorder still in the goal. 1:23 to go. Played by Valerino here with 1:19 to go. Look out here, Mervich on a mini breakaway. And he's coming down, he's hook shot, and he's pulled down and a penalty. And I'm not sure if that'll be a penalty shot here, but definitely Mount Lebanon's going on a penalty here. And Tabai screaming for a penalty shot. 59 to go, and Mount Lebanon just killing the puck here. And finally going to be stopped.
Well, more important than a penalty is killing that clock.
And we've
with less than a minute to go here.
A high sticking call here, and it looks like we're going to get a 2-minute penalty here for a high sticking call. And that pretty much may seal our own fate with only 54 seconds to go in the third period.
Timeout, Mount Lebanon. Upper St. Clair penalty, number 28, Anthony Sarabella. 2 minutes for high sticking. Time of the penalty, 14 minutes and 6 seconds of the third period. Sarabella, a high sticking line at 14:06.
Sarabella will get the gate for 2 minutes for high sticking at the 14:06 mark. And the Panthers need to score 2 goals here, Bob, in the next 54 seconds. And the tough task is we'll have to do it shorthanded.
James Brown entertains here.
And Mount Lebanon takes their one and only timeout to freshen the troops up, and they've got their 5 big guns out there.
54 to go here. Mount Lebanon leads by 2.
Faceoff is controlled by Upper St. Clair. Gets it back to center where Ferguson will bank it off the glass, played by Valerino. And Asinapura is just going to dump it back, played off the skate of a defenseman number 6, Evron, and there's a high stick right on the helmet, nothing called. Wow. And that's twice that's happened tonight, Bob, and you can hear the clang all the way up here in the broadcast booth.
Thank goodness we wear helmets.
20 seconds to go here. Played down deep. It's finally going to come in the corner, and Asinapura will have a good effort. He'll get it back to the point. Blazik with a drive. And what a save again by Bear. And 8 seconds to go. Joyce will play it in the corner, a centering pass, and that should do it with 2 to go. And that'll be the game. Well, a very frustrating game, if you will. I think, once again, I said, Bob, the Panthers, they had this game for the taking. I don't know how many times you'll have an opportunity to play the number 2 ranked team, which comes out of their own building and only gets 3 shots and looks like they're half asleep. But to Mount Lebanon's credit, they hung in there, and they got a big-time goal performance by, in my opinion, player of the game for Mount Lebanon was Evan Bear, and I think for our Panthers, certainly the play of Dave Crockett with our only 2 goals.
Well, absolutely right. But, we don't want to diminish or demean in any way Mount Lebanon. This is a terrific hockey club. They went to the state championship game last year and lost by 1 game. They've got some great players, 3 of the top scorers in Western PA. And, the Panthers just ran into a better club tonight. They played a great first period. The third period was even. Second period was all the difference in the world. 4-2. We come out on the short end.
Well, I've said this before. When you get to this caliber of play, you've really got to play 45 minutes of hockey. I personally think the Panthers outplayed the Mount Lebanon team in the first and in the third period. And again, it was that 5-minute lull that they had in the second where Mount Lebanon was able to score, Bob, 4 unanswered goals.
Well, hopefully we'll see them in the playoffs, and it'll be a different day.
Well, stay with us. We'll be back for doubleheader action here tonight. We're going to have the freshman team on for our first ever telecast of the Upper St. Clair freshmen. So we'll be back for that game. Our next varsity game will be on Monday night at the Ice Castle against Central Catholic, and that will be our last game of the season. So we've got some double duty action tonight, so don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back.